The land of K-pop, South Korea, recently making great movies, but it's a country with a strong defense capability too. South Korea holds the 6th position in global military strength rankings and is also ranked 9 in the world for arms export. Especially the K9 self-propelled howitzer, a South Korean creation, has been exported to many countries, gaining recognition for the country's weapon-making technology and defense capabilities. Well, that's enough bragging. So many international media outlets, including the Wall Street Journal and even CNBC, have recently created videos about South Korea's defense capabilities. But today, I will share a unique story that you might not have heard before. The story of the country that played a crucial role in laying the foundation for South Korea's high-level defense capabilities. That country is Russia. Since 1995, South Korea has been importing tanks, armed vehicles, anti-tank weapons, helicopters, and more from Russia. As a result, South Korea analyzed and resourced Russian tanks, contributing to the enhancement of the quality of its own weapons. In Korea, this program is known as the Bear Deal. The former name is
the Agreement on Defense Industry Cooperation and Military Supplies between the government of the Republic of Korea and the government of the Russian Federation.
Yeah, it's quite a long name. Now, why did Russia provide weapons to South Korea? Let me introduce you to the Bear Deal. It was the year 1990. At the time, South Korea had President Roh Tae-woo, and in the era of end of Cold War tensions, President Roh Tae-woo established diplomatic relations with the Soviet Union. However, there was a problem. The Soviet Union was economically struggling, so the Soviet Union asked the Korean government, "Hey, can you lend me $3 billion? At the time, $3 billion was a significant amount, around 10% of South Koreans' foreign exchange reserve. Despite the substantial sum, the Korean government accepted the request to maintain good diplomatic relations. Alright, we'll lend you $3 billion. But by the end of 1991, when South Korea had lent around $1.47 billion to Soviet Union, the Soviet Union suddenly collapsed. This was a big problem. If the country you lend money to collapse, you are unlikely to get the money back. The Korean government was concerned, but then Russia stepped in and said, "We, Russia, are the successor of Soviet Union, and we will repay the debt instead." So, the Korean government breathed a sigh of relief. However, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the newly formed Russia also faced severe economic challenges. In 1995, when Russia paid back, it was only around $19.4 million, a fraction of the borrowed amount. So Russia proposed to South Korea, "Hey, we don't have the money right now. Instead, we can pay you back with other items. How about weapons?" South Korea accepted this proposal. Thus, the agreement was established. In simpler terms, an agreement for Russia to repay the debt with weapons. From 1995 to 1998, weapons worth around $450 million arrived in South Korea from Russia. Among them were the latest Russian T-80U tanks, BMP-3 armored vehicles, Metis-M anti-tank missile launchers, and Igla portable anti-aircraft missile launchers. However, the South Korean Ministry of Defense was initially not pleased with the arrival of Russian weapons. This was because most of South Korea's weapons were of American origin, and compatibility with Russian weapons was expected to be poor. However, when they saw the T-80U tanks, the Ministry of Defense was impressed and even planned to import over 100 additional tanks. Unfortunately, due to opposition from the United States, this plan fell through. The US was concerned that if North and South went to war and if South Korea used Russian weapons, there could be confusion leading to unintentional attacks. After this, the second Bear Deal started and Russian weapons began to enter South Korea again from 2003. This time, the imports included T-80U tanks, Metis-M launchers, rescue helicopters, and BMP-3 armed vehicles. However, Russia still owed a considerable amount of money, so the third Bear Deal was in progress. Unfortunately, due to the Russia-Ukraine war, this deal has been temporarily suspended. The South Korean Ministry of Defense used the Russian weapons received to enhance and develop its own weapons. The Korean-made K2 tank, for example, incorporated technology from the T-80U tanks received from Russia. Currently, most of the Russian weapons received have been placed in reserve due to their aging status since the late 2010s. It wouldn't be accurate to attribute all of South Korea's advancement in weapon technology solely to Russia. It is widely acknowledged that Russia's contribution has been significant. The end.